Trade talks between the Baltimore Orioles and Seattle Mariners are starting to heat up, involving one pitcher that a lot of people wouldn't expect. What is Mike Elias planning for the Baltimore Orioles coming soon? Welcome to Orioles Digest. I'm your host, Kam Brice. And before you do anything, hit that subscribe button. We're trying to build this channel. I'm giving you daily updates about the Baltimore Orioles. So hit that subscribe button and come join the family. Now, some breaking news about the Baltimore Orioles and the Seattle Mariners has just broke, and one MLB insider gave us some good insight. Jon Morosi from MLB Network said the Baltimore Orioles and Seattle Mariners have talked before and in recent days about a potential Luis Castillo trade to Baltimore. This is the trade that we've all been waiting for. I know it's just a possibility. They're in talks right now, but this is better than what the Baltimore Orioles have been doing over the past couple months. Some people expect to cease. I expect to cease too, but Luis Castillo could also be a good option. And we have some more insight from Jon Morosi in a video about the potential situation between the Seattle Mariners and the Baltimore Orioles.
But Harold said this, and Harold Reynolds, as he often is exactly right. That the Baltimore Orioles and Seattle Mariners have talked before and in recent days about a potential Castillo trade to Baltimore where a younger bat would go to Seattle. That is completely accurate. Now, we don't know if necessarily if the willingness of Baltimore to take on Castillo's money has dropped a little bit because they've now added both Morton and Sugano, but Harold was spot on, and I also believe, Lauren, that Nolan Arenado, as the options for him start to dwindle, especially if Boston signs Alex Bregman, Seattle might be the last best option if he's going to get traded to a contender and not start the season in St. Louis.
It's looking like the Baltimore Orioles had their sights set on Luis Castillo, but will the Seattle Mariners finally pull the trigger and move one of their top pitchers? I have an interesting trade package to give you guys. Who would be involved in a trade to get Luis Castillo? I'll put together a list of a few players that the Baltimore Orioles could possibly go out and trade for Luis Castillo. We're going to start with Dylan Beavers. 23 years old, can play any position in the outfield, center field, left field, or right field. Has experience in AA, AAA. Even though he went to AAA and only played a selective of 6 to 10 games, he is MLB ready level. 242 hitter last year, 15 home runs, 54 RBIs. So he can hit the long ball and bring guys in. Beavers is a guy the Baltimore Orioles can move on without hurting their minor league system. He is blocked by so many people in the Baltimore Orioles system, outfielders, Vance Honeycutt, Enrique Bradfield Jr., Heston Kjerstad, Tyler O'Neill, Cedric Mullins. It just wouldn't be a fit for Dylan Beavers if he was ever called up to the MLB. Dean Kremer is a guy that the Baltimore Orioles are going to have to trade if they want a guy like Cease or Castillo. Teams will be looking for MLB ready level pitchers if they acquire a guy like Cease or Castillo. Now, Dean has had an amazing career with the Baltimore Orioles, but it's been pretty average. He's had around a 3.96 ERA his whole career, averaging at 4.10. Last season, he had a 4.10 ERA in 24 starts, over 130 innings, 123 strikeouts, but 59 earned runs. He's a proven starter, only 28 years old, and he can bring a lot to your ball club. See, if you put Dean in that Seattle Mariners rotation without Luis Castillo, he could be that 4 or 5 guy. He can also be a spot starter. And if you want to go deeper into the bullpen, he can also be a long relief type position. But Dean is a proven pitcher in this league, and he's been good with the Baltimore Orioles. And if the Baltimore Orioles move on from Dean Kremer, you insert Luis Castillo into that rotation that gives guys like Albert Soares, Trevor Rogers, Cade Povich more time to fill that role as that 5th or 4th starter. Now, the last guy we're going to talk about is Ramon Urias. Great utility guy. Can play second, third, shortstop, can hit DH, whatever you need. Ramon Urias can be that guy from time. Now, he's not going to be an everyday starter, but if you force him into that role, he will be pretty average. Ramon hit around 262 his whole career. Now, if you would tell me that's a great utility guy, that's a guy that you cannot be willing to give up. But with Jorge Mateo returning, Jackson Holliday, Kobe Mayo, you have so many options that the Baltimore Orioles can go to in the utility second base, a third base position. Now, Ramon Urias can hit for power. We've seen him hit over 14 home runs a year. We've seen him go on stretches for a month where he hits 5 home runs, tallies in 20 RBIs. He's 30 years old. He is a guy that can be a utility guy, very cheap contract. The Mariners aren't taking anything off. Ramon Urias is arbitration, so it wouldn't be much. What would a potential rotation look like in 2025 for the Baltimore Orioles? A potential rotation for the Baltimore Orioles would look like at the one, you would obviously have Luis Castillo. That will be your opening day starter. That's your ace. Even though a lot of people view him as a two, he can be an ace on most teams. At the two, you have Grayson Rodriguez. At the three, Zach Eflin. At the four, you have Sagano. At the five, you have Charlie Morton. And then, say if something happens, if one of those guys get injured, you have Albert Suarez, Kate Pivot. You can bring Chase McDermott up from AA, in which I expect Chase McDermott to be in the MLB in the bullpen this season the whole year. I don't think the Baltimore Orioles can keep a guy with that much talent in AA for so long. Acquiring Luis Castillo fixes holes in this rotation so much. The Baltimore Orioles are looking for a guy that can strike batters out, be that guy to go deep into games, be that guy to depend on, be an all-star. And Luis Castillo has all that ability to be that type of guy. Now, the next thing about it is he has a no trade clause. So if Luis Castillo declines, then obviously the trade can't get through. The other part that I think Mike Elias will not be happy about is that you're going to have to pay that guy over $26 million a year. And we know the Baltimore Orioles struggle right now paying guys above $20 million a year, especially when you haven't extended Gunnar Henderson or Adley Rutschman. And the Baltimore Orioles' whole rotation goes from one of the worst in the AL East to one of the best, and you're back to a championship contending team. Now, it's not Corbin Burns, it's not Max Fried, it's not Blake Snell, but it's a guy that you can trust in for multiple years, and he's on contract, so the Baltimore's don't have to go out, do them 1 year rentals. Now, I still would like them to go out and try to get Dylan Cease, but I've said in multiple videos, you can only get Dylan Cease if a contract extension will be in the works, and we all know that Mike Elias doesn't do contract extensions. It will be interesting to see if the Seattle Mariners can finally pull the trigger. But in these recent days, we've seen so many talks between the Orioles and Mariners, so we should expect a deal coming pretty soon. Thanks for watching. Hit that subscribe button, turn on post notifications, and come join Orioles Digest.